Ready, ready, ready. Hello everyone. On this video, I want to explain how this example was put together. So first thing, let's just take out the formula bar and the headings. Take out also the ribbon. And let's just zoom out a little bit and move ourselves to, let's place this chart more in the middle. There you go. So this is just basically a stack bar chart, nothing else. Let's just click on the chart and just to confirm that. And essentially, as you can see, a stack bar chart for everything, and then one item that is like to do the line, the horizontal line for the first axis item, which, by the way, is an item that stays fixed. I'm referring to this part right here. This is a cool thing because what's cool is that these pivot table slicers are controlling the sorting of all this section right here, okay, either in ascending or descending order, or the values that you see here, here, and here as well, or either on these values here. We can also sort it from ascending and descending order. So let me give you a demo real quick. So axis item in ascending order. Basically, I'm organizing it from A to Z alphabetically. And you can see that, for example, critical, and then farmers, and then healthcare, and all the way to transit and utility workers. Now, this is good because sometimes my experience being with decision managers or decision makers, that they want to organize the item to find easier what's their group. Okay, so alphabetically they know their group, by the first letter of the alphabet, and then they find the row in this case, and then they see their value, and then what other maybe second or third value is, and then they say, okay, now reorganize it from greatest to least by this metric. So I'm gonna put share in descending order, and there you go. Now they know their metric, and now they can find it easier. It's a bit of an interaction here to go from greatest to least. I like it ascending or descending, either by share or total workers, either in descending. As you can see right here, now it's organized from 19 millions all the way to 330,000, or maybe in ascending, maybe the other way around, because the analysis can switch and say, hey, look, let's just look at the least and what's happening, or maybe what's the greatest and what's happening. So by having this option of ascending and descending, it's phenomenal. Then share, and then that's how the original chart was. And as you can notice, everything here like sorts from greatest to least or vice versa, but this part stays fixed. And this is what we're going to be learning on how to achieve this, basically by an amazing formula called B-stack. Oh, actually not formula, function, B-stack. So how do we get that? So basically now we go here. Now let's just take up, bring back the ribbon, formula bar, and let's go to the first part of this. Okay, maybe we gotta zoom in a little bit. Yes, basically. So before proceeding, we need to always give the credits. I get the chart right here from the New York Times. Amazing article, and very interesting. I was amazed about reading it because the share of women who are essential workers is very high in social workers and healthcare, and this graphic came out right about the pandemic in 2020. And yes, I think it is. I think we need to take care of these workers. 110, 200%. Really, they're essential workers for us to in the healthcare industry, as well as the social workers and education, and then also security, police forces, and all that, and firefighters who are women, as well as men. But of course, I just think it's like this is good to keep in mind. Or good knowledge to have in mind about how much what's the representation among all these sort of careers or industries. So just wanted to give credit on that amazing article. I'll leave you the link right here so you can check it out. So now let's get back to the example, and this is the data. Eventually I brought everything here, all the values. I'm referring to all these and this and this. I brought it to the other side, to the table. And that's what we have here. Let's just maybe zoom in a little bit. Okay, perfect. So what do we do first? Like the first step is the data. We already have that. And then the second step is about configuring some pivot tables that which are gonna allow us to do the sorting. My first pivot table is, and maybe I'll zoom in a little bit more. Okay, there we go. Is the sort by, okay? And then the item is this one right here. The share is the second column here, and the total worker is over here. And you can see the reference is 1, 2, 3. I do this because it's easier for the next part that is gonna come over here. Okay. And also just check out that I put 1 and 2 and 3. I do this because I want the pivot table slicers, the items of the slicers, to be organized in that order. Okay. Else it will just gonna do it another way, and I just didn't want to. Maybe by luck here is that I comes before the S and then S before the T. But then again, I still want to play it safe and just keep it 1, 2, 3, and all that. Now that's the only thing that sometimes you don't want this numbering to go in. So you can go at this approach, or you can go with power pivot, and then there you can have organized by one column organized by another column that is numerical. Then the other pivot table that we see here is basically the sort order. We want either an ascending or descending. And you will notice something here that it doesn't make sense, because on the formula of sort by, or the function of sort by, usually the ascending parameter is 1, and then the ascending parameter is -1. Why did I did this? You will see in a minute. It's okay, but keep it in mind. Okay, this is good to keep in mind because I just don't touch one feature or native feature of the Excel charts that sometimes for me it gives me a lot of troubles when working with these sort of examples. So I sometimes just leave it untouched, and I will point out which one. But for now, just bear with me that I'm setting it up like this: ascending -1 and descending 1. Okay. In the function of sort by, just in case, sort by, there we go, and then comma and comma, there you go. You see that 1, and maybe we'll do this, and I think it's like this. There we go. So there we go. We bring our magnifier. Sort by, okay, and then look at that. When I bring that comma again, there we go. We see that 1 is ascending and -1 is descending. This is very important to emphasize, and that's why I'm being a little bit I'm emphasizing this part because I'm doing the inverse for the pivot table. There we go. Now let's close the magnifier, and there we go. Now these are the data for the pivot table, and this is the other small data for this pivot table. Right here is a pivot table. So how do we configure this? I have shown in previous videos how to do it, but I'll do it again real quick. You just highlight this, insert a pivot table, in this case just a pivot table, and it will ask you, hey, where do you want to set it up? Well, I want the existing worksheet right here, and it could be anywhere pretty much, because basically it's just a quick setup. So I'm just gonna put it right here. As soon as I have it, basically you probably will have this in this way in your computer, but I'm always promoting this trick, is that you can switch this to be right here on the how do you call that, the bolt, or that button that is called tool. You can select that and go with the second option, which is fields side by side. Click on that, and then you can right click or left click, okay, left click with your mouse, hold it down, and undock it. Okay, there we go. Now we have this. Basically the setup is here. We want ref to be on values, and that's it pretty much. Yeah, pretty much that's it. And now we get the -1 plus 1 because basically this is a sum. Okay, no worries, because later, okay, actually let's click on show field list again. Sorry, I had it like this, and we right click on this part right here, and we add slicers. And now we can remove this, and as soon as I click on ascending, I get the -1, which is this part right here. And if I click on descending, I get the -1, and that's it. That's pretty much here. And then the rest is just aesthetic, and I just place it here because it's a cheap trick. In case I potentially select two values, okay, maybe I select these two. Well, okay, maybe I just wanted to this doesn't apply. Sorry, this doesn't apply on this example. But in case somebody just selects two items, this pivot table will expand itself. What do I mean by that? Show field list and maybe sort, and put a sort order on rows. And look at this. As soon as I maybe select, I gotta take out the grand total for that, remove grand total. And eventually you have it like this. But in case the user selects both of them, which shouldn't be possible, then you see that this pivot table expands itself to the second row, which I don't want that. So that's why in order to prevent it, what I do is select this and maybe I put the something X here. And as soon as the user tries to do two selections, it will get this example or this message saying, hey, look, it's kind of like a warning message. It's a cheap trick, I know, but I just like it because that way it just prevents the user to say, hey, I can only select one single selection for these pivot table slicers. So that's how you set up this pivot table. Perfect. And then it comes the slicers. Maybe I'm gonna back up a little bit. The slicers is section number 3. As you can see right here, these are the slicers. And that's it. You set it all in this way. Basically, what I do here is click and maybe let's do something here. I'm on top of this, so maybe you cannot see. And there we go. Click here, right click, and then slicer setting. And as you can see here, I have one option that is off, which is display header. That is off, so that way, it doesn't have a couple of buttons. Let me bring it back again. For example, if I put it back again, and I think it should show, not sure why. There you go. You see these two buttons that are not necessarily for this example. So I just want them off. So slicer settings, uncheck display header and click OK, and then you have it right here. Now the formatting for this, I'm gonna leave it for another video. It's gonna be on my Spill graphics, enhancing the default section, how to enhance pivot table slicers. But just in case, it's not very difficult. So if you want to check that, I'll leave a link to the video, a reference here, okay, when I update or bring that post, which should be soon. And I will leave a link below this video right here on this post that you will find how to enhance the look and feel of pivot table slicers so they don't feel too Excel looking. Now let's go back to part number 4, which eventually is where the backbone formula lives. Okay. Basically, now let's open this, and there we go. Maybe let's zoom a little bit more. Okay, because everything here we can see in one shot. And there you go. Okay, first thing first, we're bringing the let function, which is an amazing function. It's one of my favorite because I always say let is more, like the same way minimalist designers say less is more. Well, for me it is let is more because we're sort of defining variables and then using these variables to reduce redundancy so we can make legible formulas. And legible formulas are easy to read formulas. So as you can see here, the first part is the all section. The all section is bringing the filter, which is referring to the whole table. Okay, this part, this whole part right here. This whole part right here. And then on column of item, which is right here, I'm telling it, which is this column right here, item, I'm telling it, hey, bring me everything that is essential workers, this part right here. But because I'm referring to the whole table, I'm going to bring the whole row. And that's what I'm doing with that all. Then comes the next section right here, which is other. And then I'm also doing the same thing, but I'm adding something not equal to, okay? Not equal to essential workers. And then I'm bringing this part, essentially this part right here. But to that part, this is what I'm doing on sorted, okay? I'm sorting it, okay? I'm then saying others, as I have referred on my previous variable, and then index, okay? Index of other based on H13, which is in this case by this second column, by share who are women, okay? And then H20, which is over here, right here. And as you can see, it has a 1. So I'm telling it, hey, organize it in descending order by share of women. But here's the thing. this is the tricky part that it's kind of like an inverse of it, okay? Because I know on the sort by function, if you want it in ascending order, in this case, let's just maybe delete this H20. Okay, there you go. And now let's bring the magnifier. Oh, okay, the magnifier right here. There we go, and delete that. And okay, there we go. So you see the magnifiers for those. Well, I'm just using the magnifier to just show you in a greater size. That here, okay, ascending is 1, minus 1 is descending. This is probably the trickiest part, and I want you that for these examples I always try to maintain it the inverse for the setup, because I don't want to touch one feature that is on the chart that we will see in a minute. Okay, we'll see in a real quick, in an instant, sorry. So there we go. I keep it like that. It's a bit of the inverse on the formula part, so I don't have to tweak the chart. Now, if I go and turn this off, and now say H20 again, I'm referring to that. And then the last part of the formula, it is a B stack, sorted and then all. There you go. And basically that's it. That's it. I'm telling, hey, I'm B stacking this array and this array into one, and I have one stack of the two of them that I'm stacking vertically sorted, but not the other one. This is what allows me that the all essential workers stays fixed and doesn't move, while the other one can be sorted either by ascending or descending, or either of any of these two metrics. And that's it pretty much. As soon as I get that, this is what I get, okay? And eventually, let me just back up a little bit and just show you right here that right now you're seeing it organized in as descending order, okay? I'm telling it descending order, which in this case, and this will actually, let's just bring, because this was gonna make more sense now. I know that's the part that it probably trip up people, but this is how my approach is, just to keep things simple, in my opinion. Is that, for example, as soon as I tell descending, I'm telling it to go descending right here, okay? I'm telling it to give me a 1. But a 1 for this array is gonna be ascending. Why do I want that? Because I don't know why, but in Excel charts, when you have the data in ascending order, the Excel charts plots it in descending order. It plots it in the inverse. So in order for me not to touch that, that's how I do it in this case. So basically now, as soon as you do ascending, now you have the -1, and then now you have these organized pretty much by descending order by the share of woman. Now, here's the thing. We'll see in a minute with this feature. Let me just now bring this to the side. Again, to put it right here where it belongs. Okay. Now we need to, before proceeding to the stack bar chart, we need to also bring this section right here, which is number 5. A bit of a sip here. And eventually right here is the first thing that we want to do to that array that we just got, basically is the index. And this is a cool thing. We just reference a spill range, and then we define which column we want, the first one. Then the offset is a bit of an arbitrary. I want to count the sequence of the previous array, but then since I want that number to spill, this is my cheap trick. I multiply by 0 and then add a 70. The 70, you will see in a minute, is to get this offset right here. Oh, I didn't want to zoom like that. There we go. The 70, okay, is to get this offset right here. This offset is 70, okay, in the stack bar chart. Like the size of this, or the length, is 70. Then we go with value, okay. Value, we do index of the sorted array, okay, that is B stack, and then we get column number 2, and then the percentage label right here is basically is that if once it finds on the array, on the blue array right here, then do the text formatting of adding up percentages, because that's on the original chart. That's how it was placed. Just the one item percentage. Then the other ones are numerically from 1 to 100. I thought it was an elegant touch from the designer of the graph. And then comes the percentage difference to 100, and this is only for getting this part right here. Whoop. This gray R bar. I think it gives us a greater sense of, how much is each. So share of women is the purple, and then the rest is the gray. So meaning men in this case. And then the right offset is basically, we need that because we wanna have this part right here. That is 40 right here. The length of this is 40, and again, this is for the stack bar chart. And then the last part is just labels. But for this, for the labels, basically we want right here, we bring index. We want the third column from the B stack ed array, but formatted in thousands, and that's what you're seeing right here eventually. Now again, how do we put this chart again? And let's just now back up a little bit here. And there we go. So basically now we just bring, whoa, I don't know why the right there is jumping. Okay, sometimes Excel gets buggy like that, descending. Basically, yeah, I guess sometimes it get buggy like that. Right, insert right here, and then go and throw in a stack bar chart. Oh, actually we need the stack bar, that option right there. Let's just throw it in. And now we right click, select data, add data. And then as soon as I get to this point right here, there's one item that I haven't mentioned, that as soon as I was doing these arrays right here, I was actually, as soon as I placed these two pivot table slicers, this one and this one, I'm a person that likes to document as I go. So basically when I did this, basically on the name manager, I have the data as my table. My number 2 is my sort by slicer, which in this case, oh no, there we go, is the sort by, that is the first slicer on top. Then number 3 is sort order slicer, which is the one on the bottom of that slicer. Then as I go on this one, left offset value diff to 100 and right offset is the section that is right here. As you can see, left offset value, which correspond to these arrays right here. Okay, and those are the ones that I'm gonna plot onto my graph in addition to 1. Let's cancel this, and now bring this chart right here, right click, yeah, and I don't know what happened there. Right click, select data, add. And the first one that I want to add is the left offset. And as soon as I'm right here, I delete this and do F3 or function F3, depending if you're working on a laptop or in a desktop. Then I'm going to say left offset. There we go. And close this. Then click OK. Click add. Now we're going to do value and then delete this again. Function F3 or just F3. Do value, click OK. As you can see, things are start to get already in place. Click add again. We want the difference to 100. Delete this again and add the difference to 100. Click OK. Add. Now right offset and delete this again. It's a bit repetitive, but just for this 4 series. As soon as we have that, this is the essential part right here. Because I told you that why are you having the minus 1 and 1? That just that the inverse. A lot of people don't get it, but especially for the Excel advanced users that might be seeing this video, and thank you if you're watching this up to minute 24. It's just that here's the thing though. Look, I have my items. I mean, look at it right now. It's already obvious. Look at this. It is 1. I mean, 15 to 1. If I was, I don't know. it's more intuitive for me that this should be 1, okay, and then this one should be 15 and then 14, okay, but it's not. So this is the tricky part, because this is the part that I click right here, control or double click maybe, which I learned very recently. Click on this element, double click, and this comes up. Basically, maybe you have it like this, and again, like pivot table field pane, you can left click and undock it. Okay, and actually it's not just clicking left click. You have to left click, hold it, okay, left click here on the title of it, and hold it, and then undock it. And this is the part that I'm telling you. Right here, I don't touch this part right here. That part, I leave it on check, and just how it works. But because of leaving that part on check, then I have to work with doing the inverse of these two, which is the parameters that on the sort by function is the inverse. Okay, 1 for ascending minus 1 for descending. Probably the only part that maybe throw you off. Hopefully not, but hopefully now you get the logic or the reason for it. And sometimes I just leave this part untouched and just work it like that. Because previously on my other examples, because checking that, it has sometimes thrown off my charts and in silly ways. So I noticed that leaving that on check keep things consistent. All right, so basically now we have this. So what do we do here basically now in order to get it like this? So basically here we click on this blue stack, actually double click it. Well, click it once, click it. Actually click it so you can feel that all of them are being selected. You can see the blue dots over here, and Control 1, and then here we want to reduce this to 50%. There we go. And then we want to right click, add labels, click on the labels that are being placed, Control 1, and then save values from field or values from cells, which is in this case is gonna be the it is gonna be this one right here, essentially. And as soon as you do that, and I'm just noticing that I don't have this array placed, so I'm just gonna immediately pause this, fix this, and show it back to you. Okay, 1 second. Okay, now we're back. I just fixed this as I was making this video. I just noticed that, and my apologies. So eventually, now if we go back to the name manager here, here I just added one item that it wasn't showing a minute ago, access item. Now that's number 4, and then I just brought number 5 and 6 all the way up to 8. Okay, now for this new reference name, we need to go here to the original chart, this one right here. Let's just move this one for now. Click on these labels, Control 1, select range, and then here I'm just gonna delete this, do F3 or function F3, click on axis item, and click OK, and click OK. And now this is fixed. I think also one more, do F function, actually Control 1. I believe that one is also, that is referring to EU, which was not also referenced. So let's do it right now because I'm not perfect. So now I'm already selected there, add new. So you can see something here that is 09 worker labels, and then example, and then hashtag for that, and that's it. I already have 9. Now click on these labels, Control 1, select range, delete this, F3, and then workers labels, click OK, and now, okay, in case now everything is referenced, now everything is cool, because if you increase this table, everything will adjust accordingly. That's the nice thing about referencing with Excel charts. Now we're good. Perfect. Now since we're here, okay, on this chart, now we could continue on this part. So sorry for all this. I just noticed this. Sometimes, yeah, sometimes I notice this, and I should have fixed this already, okay, before this video, but nobody's perfect. So, and yeah, sorry for this. So click on this label that we placed. Click Control 1, select range. We already know that here we want to remove this F3 or function F3, and then click Access Items. Click OK. And notice that it's like, let's just maybe switch the color to be white so we can perceive something, and then we'll switch it back to blue. See how like for example, the first item is all essential workers? Well, we want to do something here that is kind of like hidden or not so known. Is that we want to go to these options right here, go to alignment, okay? This option is size and property, and you want to uncheck this, okay? And as soon as you do that, it automatically remove the wrap text. Go back here, uncheck a value, and then say that you want an inside base right there. And as soon as you do that, that's how you get the alignment to be, or the left alignment for this. And that's pretty much it. As soon as you click again on the labels, click it to be black, and click on the stacks, okay? Right click, fill, no fill. And there you go. That's how you get this part right here. Then eventually click on the stacks that are the ones that we want to visualize, and then click fill, and you choose this purple, okay? Which, just in case, this purple right here is this hex code, okay? Which already I'm putting here. So it's already, because I already have the other chart, that's why we have it available. You click on that, and then boom, then click on the other one, the purple, or actually the gray, fill, and then click on this gray that we already have the hex code right here, and probably this is common for some. And then click on this tag bar chart right here, which is, again, as you can see, this one is coming from this offset, right offset, in order to have that space, and place the labels. Right click, add labels, click on the labels, Control 1, value from cell, F3 or function F3, and we want workers labels. Click OK, and then take out value, and then inside N to be all right aligned. Click on the stacks now, right click, fill, no fill. And this is pretty much how you get this stack bar chart. But there's one thing here that you need to do. You need to go click on this axis, right here, and Control 1, and you want to fix it to be 210. This is probably the only part that I don't like, because I don't like hard coding these parameters, or I just wanted to. I actually like to leave them a bit loose or dynamic, so they adjust. But for this case, we want these ones to be like this, and then click on these grid lines, okay, and then you can delete them. Now, there's one thing that is essentially missing, and this is the last part, is how do we get this line right here? Ooh, I didn't want to zoom in like that. No, there we go. This part right here, how do we get this line? So for that, basically, it's just a scatter plot. We do a combo chart here, and basically we get that line. So for do that, click on this anywhere on the chart, right click, select data, and add another series. We're gonna call it reference line. And basically just select one of whatever value you want. In this case, let's just select the 0, click OK, and click OK. Nothing happens, okay? But now if you go to chart design or format, okay, and go to this window and click reference line, you will see that nothing gets selected. Don't worry, okay? What you want to do right here is right click on the chart as soon as, well, this is a tricky part that I have to do it slowly. Go again, click reference line, okay? And then Control 1, there you go. And because I selected reference line and then I did Control 1, it gives me the series option, and then I click on secondary axis. As soon as I do that, this is good, because now I can right click here, change chart type, and as soon as you will see is that this is on secondary axis, okay, this series, the stack bar chart, okay, but that reference line, we're gonna switch it to be a scatter plot. And as soon as we do that, click OK. We wanna increase the axis to be also horizontally as well, Yeah, we want that. And basically now click, we essentially we have all the axes, this one, and this one. So eventually now we have select data, and now we have reference line edit. What are the x values? Is this one right here, the x position, and then what are the the y position, these two right here. And as soon as we do that, boom, then you can see those two dots already placed right here and right here. I already have knowledge that these are the values in order to get the reference lines. Okay, so you have to, when you're doing this, you have to play around a bit. So we want to align this axis item to this axis item. So right here we click on this axis actually, and now do 0 here, and then 210. There we go. And now there you go. Now click on those markers, Control 1, and then you say you want a solid line, you want in color black, you want the width to be 125. Yeah, maybe a little bit thinner, maybe a little bit thinner. Yeah, well, I think 1 point is good. And that's it pretty much. As soon as you click on this chart and then click on the plus sign and uncheck axis, it just take out everything. And eventually, oh, click on the markers again, Control 1, and now you go to the markers option and just say none. And that's it pretty much. There we got the same chart right next to us. There's one thing missing here, that click on the purple bars, right click at data labels, click on the labels. Now go to home and tell them you want them white, bold, and then Control 1, and you want them to be inside N. And there you go, right there, pretty much. Essentially, we want to accommodate this, okay? This one right here. And just in case, you can see that the space in between here and here is different. So what you want to do essentially is just to move this a little bit to the side, so that way you remove that space. And eventually the other part right here is, how do we add this? Well, I didn't want to do that, sorry. This and this is just basically adding text boxes to the chart. So click on the chart, click insert, add a text box right here, and there you go. Now you can just say share, well, all capitalized, share who are women, and that's it pretty much. And then you just accommodate the aesthetics, and you place it right here on top, and you will do the same for total workers. They don't want to do that again, sorry. Right here, and then you also want to do it for the source, which is also very crucial to always put. And that's it pretty much. That's it for the whole chart. As soon as you do that, again, it just works nicely. So ascending, descending, as you can see, and that's it. Oh, I forgot. You can notice that these ones are not the labels that we want. The labels that we want are ones that we define. So click on the labels, Control 1. Oh. Click on the labels, Control 1. I'm not sure why it's not. There we go, Control 1. Values from cell, function F3 or F3, and we want the... Wow, again, another thing that I didn't notice. We should have, if we click on the original chart and do Control 1, okay, another range that I did not sort of reference. So let's do this real quick as soon as we're doing this video, because that will be the last step, and this is it. So here we know that is after value, so then this one should be number 10. This one should be number 9. This one should be number 8. And this one should be number 7. There we go. Yeah. Well, actually, wait. We don't want that. Yep. No, so that one is the new one. The label value, number 7. Label values. Label value. Now let's just put it simple. Label values. and we want example, and then we want the hash, and click OK. And there we go. Now we go to the original chart, Control 1, delete this whole thing, F3 or function F3, label values. There we go. Click OK. And there we go. So you can see, for example, that's cool because we got the percentage, but not for the other ones. We got the percentage symbol for the first item, but not for the other ones. And now we do the same thing here for this one, Control 1, and then values from cell, F3, and then label values, click OK, and take out the unchecked values, and there we go. We get the same effect. And then just adding the title and the source, and then pretty much you're all set. This is it. This is it for this video. Quite a bit of hiccups, but I'm sorry. But now you're gonna receive this file with 10 reference arrays, and I think it was before 7. So sorry for this, but at least we fixed it on the go. And this is it for this video. See you in the next one. Bye bye.